Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. And to all of you that have lost very blessed people in your life that were very brave, I just want to give my condolences, and I just want you to know that if you've lost somebody that you love deeply, even if they're just lost in this world right now, you know, not necessarily, it's not a physical loss, but it's like they're just lost to whatever's going on in energy. But if you physically have lost somebody, I never feel like they are truly lost. I feel like we always are going to see them again. They're our angels. They guide us. They're our intuition that help guide us. They're the feelings that we get. I believe people are there protecting you. And so if you have lost somebody that you deeply love, I just want to tell you that I feel deeply for you. I understand what it's like to lose somebody that you deeply care about. This energy is about the memory, and today, especially in America, about remembering their ripple effect in their life. Like what did they do? Like, the ripple effect is they made people, they created people, they defended people, they did wonderful things. So it's a very beautiful and ordained day. Today, the moon in Aries is going to be conjunct with Chiron in Pisces for about the first part of the day. So I believe this is a very beautiful and very healing day. This is the end of energy meeting the beginning of energy. This is Chiron, the deep wounded healer, in this very karmic area, looking at a new beginning, an emotional new beginning. So I believe that this is, it's very beautiful when we have this beautiful day that we're remembering who we loved, to talk about the endings and talk about how they inspired new beginnings, or what they did, or who they created, the lives that they even created. When the moon moves into Aries, I think an ending in energy is going to generate a healing beginning. I think for some of that could just be the sense of how we're interpreting, how we're viewing it emotionally. I believe that we can have some strength. We can attain some strength from just that realization of what we're processing. I think where you emotionally cling to the past wound, maybe accented today, it's going to be easy to get caught up in today. If you're very receptive to energy, then just be mindful that you're going to be very receptive to the fact that people are remembering losses, and it's a very kind of heavy day. I love that we have the moon in Aries, because the moon in Aries can be somewhat detached, and it can be like like I can just, it'll lighten things up, I think, emotionally, and it's quite reflective day. I think that this cardinal moon will inspire you to take action and move towards something more emotionally fulfilling. Again, this is the day where, we could get emotionally consumed, but no, we're going to go out to the grave, and we're going to pay respects, and we're going to put flowers on it. We're going to do what it takes to get it done. It's the emotional motivation for us to be a cardinal force. It's not about getting caught up. It's about, hey, rallying everybody, getting everybody organized. We're going to go to the graves. We're going to remember. We're going to embrace these memories. We're going to show respect. But it's still like a wound. It's still like there's a loss associated. So it's still not an ideal day. I think what you have been holding on to for some time can be very difficult. Because again, we're still caught up in this mutable grand cross. We're very influenced by that. So when we're being pulled in lots of different directions, I love that we have a cardinal moon, because the cardinal moon gets pissed. It doesn't like the disoriented energy. It's like, no, I'm not getting lost over here. I've got this and this and this to do. So emotionally, it's going to be very easy on you, I think, to process today, with this mindset. I think that for some of you that, of course, are caught in this extreme, I think some of you may be having the clarity, the forthright in thought to be like, I am getting caught up in pleasure. Like, there's a realization. Like, I see it. nobody needs to point it out. I don't need it, drill into me. Like, I know that I'm getting lost. Like, there's that feeling. I believe that, I think that you're having the realization of just how much this excessive pleasure seeking is rippling out of control, either in your life or this wound, this something that whenever I think about this trine that's going on with Neptune at the base of it, I think about the root of the issue, the karmic. When you came into the world, you were born into a karmic cycle, right? And that karmic cycle is something that you work through your entire life, and you get supportive karmic lessons and supportive karmic relationships. I mean, that support this karmic lesson, that it instills what it needs to instill on you throughout your lifetime. I believe that for some of us, when we've got Chiron here, what I think it has to do is the realization of the root. What's at the core? What's at the base? What's my problem? Like, why do I need to escape? What's going on with me? Like, some of you can be this could be a very internal day. Some of you, it could be like, oh my gosh, my grandpa had this problem. My dad had this problem. And now I have this problem, because it's a very generational day. It feels very generational. So I believe that for some of you, that realization of like, oh, I'm repeating karmic cycles on a generational level, and not so much just on my own cycle, but I'm doing a generational cycle. I believe that for some of us, that empowers some of our thoughts. It's like, oh, I can actually break the thread. I can actually stop this in my karmic cycle, so I don't pass this next generational cycle onto my children. I want to save them from this karmic cycle that seems to be impacting our entire family. I think that it can be very difficult in this energy to be hopeful and beginnings, realizations. It's just a lot of stark, extreme. You've got very different energy aspecting each other. You've got that wounded healer. That just makes the moon sometimes very agitated, that they're weak enough to be subjected to even have this wound, even deal with the wound. Like, some of us could be having that kind of issue. I think that some of you are deeply, perhaps unconsciously fearful of committing to a constant source of energy. See, what this gets down to is we have this mutable grand cross, and then we have this grand earth trine, and many of us are being compelled to make a choice, to make a fated karmic choice, to choose stability, choose consistency, choose the right way to be. But for some of us, there's this resistance. There's this, well, if I do, it's a ball and chain, or, because that's that whole Venus, the Venus and the sun saying, well, it pleases me to be this independent, or it pleases me to do, I don't have to be accountable to anybody. It pleases me to be selfish. It pleases me to be an ego-oriented person. It's immediate. I get off on it, right? It's my journey, my life. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. That's that very Moon and Aries type mindset. But when it's conjunct with Chiron, it's like, no, because the ripple effect is this. And there's that honest conversation that you have with yourself about the ending of the cycle and the beginning of the cycle, and where do I emotionally invest? Like, where am I in all ego still, or am I in the karmic journey? Am I wanting to get off the wheel? Like, do I still want to be a hamster on my wheel, or do I want to get off? Some of us, it's going to be like, eh. And this is very blunt, very in your face energy, because it's a moon in Aries. So I believe that some of you may fear routine and commitment as well. Like, this energy is inspiring you to commit, settle yourself, make rational, logical choices. When you want to be headstrong, extreme, you want to just be all over the place. You don't want to be accountable. You just want to have a good time. You want to flirt if you want to flirt. You want to be out there. You want to do whatever the hell you want, because you're just, you don't want the consequence of anything. This energy is very much, I think, can be a very revealing day, and the fact that we see the extremes, because it hurts more. to live in that extreme. Like physically, our egos are gonna be faced with the pain of this karmic wound that we keep opening back up again, because we can't seem to shut our own wound. We can't commit. We can't make a rational and a logical choice, because that means that we're tied down, we're bound. It's a very restless energy. When you've got Venus and Gemini and the Sun in Gemini, they're restless. They don't want to make choices. I mean, as a given, these types of energies are they flip back and forth easily. So sometimes you may want to be committed, and then sometimes you're like, but then it means that I can't do this, or I'm accountable for this, right? So some of us are having these conversations. And again, I told you that this mutable grand cross gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So the realizations obviously get more and more exact about either where we're too adaptable or we're not adaptable enough, or where we choose to spiral out of control. I think what some of us are realizing is that we have the right to make a choice at any time to stop this craziness. But many of us are enjoying the craziness at the same time, because again, we're lost in the extremes and we're preconditioned to enjoy that. So the energy is going to be this way, and that's okay. It's okay, because it kind of goes into June, and then it lightens up and it breaks up, and we get some realizations, and it goes through the next cycle of our thoughts. As we go through all these different, as we start to build up to the brand new moon, energy is of course going to change drastically when we get about there. June 4th is definitely a day to watch, because the new moon in Gemini is going to be conjunct Venus in Gemini. And so I believe we're kind of like leading up to that big moment where we have the realization about the pleasure that we seek. We want a new beginning. So when we get there, that new beginning is reason, logic, is how we emotionally feel about our situation, how we emotionally invest, what we emotionally invest in, who we emotionally invest in. That new moon is a point of, let's plant a new seed. Let's do it a different way. Let's apply some reason and logic to this. It can't be all just the sporadic energy. The realization will help us plant that new mutated seed, that different seed. We're not planting the same old seeds expecting something different to grow. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next week.